the first story I'm going to talk about is first I want to give a little bit update on what's happening with the Julian Assange case. So Julian Assange is still in Belmarsh prison for doing his job, being the one of the most consequential journalists of our lifetime and publishing documents that expose war crimes being committed by the U.S. military and covered up by the U.S. government. Uh, so he published those documents that were given to him by Chelsea Manning, and ever since then they've been coming for his head. All types of different bullshit excuses and things that they could justify. Targeting Julian Assange. There was recently Yahoo, I think it was Yahoo News, confirmed some reporting from Max Blumenthal in the Gray Zone that the CIA had multiple plans and plots to kidnap and assassinate Julian Assange. Um, but yeah, so he's been in prison. They had the extradition trial or extradition hearing. The U.S. made their case. The Julian Assange's defense made their case. The judge denied the U.S. extradition request, not because it was bullshit and they were trying to prosecute a journalist, but because they couldn't ensure Julian Assange's safety if he was sent back to the United States. And in the UK, they have you technically not allowed to send somebody to their death. Like somebody who's in the UK, you can't send them to another country to be executed or anything like that. And the the judge said that she couldn't ensure Julian Assange's safety if he was sent to a U.S. prison. So immediately, the U.S. said they were going to appeal the denied extradition request. So he's been sitting in prison for months waiting for this. The original ruling was in January. He's been sitting in prison for months. And for absolutely no reason. That's the wild part. There isn't even a charge that he's like convicted of or anything like that. Or any crime that he's accused of in the UK. He's technically supposed to be a free citizen. But they're holding him so that they could craft this bullshit appeal and prevent him from getting any type of diplomatic immunity or anything like that. So they're holding him there in this prison, completely unjust. And so the hearings were finally this week. The prosecution made their case the first day. The defense made their case the second day. I'm not going to get into all the specific details of the hearings and the legal arguments presented. But I will give some like a brief summary. But if you do want more in details on what exactly went on in the courtroom, so many people have done great breakdowns of this already. Kevin Gostola from what's that podcast that he does with Rania Kalik? Unauthorized disclosure. He's been doing great work, and it always has done great work covering the Julian Assange case. I'm forgetting this UK based journalist. She's been doing great work, and I also follow her for her updates on the case. Richard Medhurst has done some great breakdowns of the hearings and Convo Couch. So many people have done great breakdowns, so I'm not going to go over all the details again. If you want like the detail of it, go look those places. But basically, he was denied even being allowed in the courtroom to even participate in his defense, which is outrageous. Again, so many layers of outrage in this entire sham process. Denied even being able to make his defense. Apparently, he isn't well in Belmarsh. They're trying to torture him to death, as they have been for a while. And so what I wanted to talk about, what I wanted to add was, so a couple days before the extradition appeal hearing, uh, many prominent Julian Assange supporters and activists and journalists were they held something called the Belmarsh Tribunal, where they basically put on trial the whole bullshit persecution of Julian Assange and the entire war on terror. So many great speakers there. Edward Snowden, uh, his fiance Stella Morris. Like I said, so many activists and journalists who support Julian Assange. Give me 1 second. And so I wasn't able to watch it and like watch it live in real time because had things going on that day. Uh, but I was interested, so I decided to search on Twitter to see what I could find on what was happening. And so I just did a regular search for Julian Assange's name, and I noticed that there were when you search Julian Assange's name on Twitter, like they flooded the search feed with a bunch of random shit that had nothing to do with Julian Assange. And I looked, and the search term that was popping up was anything with the any tweet with the word arrested in it. So that is clearly not an accident because as far as I can remember, I don't think that's ever happened to me on Twitter. Maybe one time or two times, but it on something as specific as this, as the persecution of a journalist by the establishment for actually challenging power, and something that's been buried by the media, and something, a person who's been demonized by the entire establishment and polite society. uh it does it strains credulity to believe that it's just a coincidence that when you search his name before this bullshit kangaroo court uh, uh, proceedings go on, you can't find information on it, and you only, like I said, your feed is flooded with a bunch of irrelevant information. So I have a couple screenshots that I'll just show you guys real quick. This is the first one, and you can clearly see that in the search bar is Julian Assange's name, and that's not the results that come up. So I have some things to say about this after. So here's the first picture. Like I said, Julian Assange first is what I is in the search bar at the top. And by the way, let me know if you guys can see this, if you need me to make it bigger or something. Because when I took the screenshot, I wasn't planning on uh when I took the screenshot, I wasn't planning on using it for the show, or else I would have taken it like horizontally. I just took the screenshot because at the time when I saw it, it was fucking bizarre to me, and I just wanted to screenshot it so I had some proof of it. So this is the first, and I'm looking in the chat, so just let me know if you guys can read it fine. Uh, like I said, so this is a tweet that pops up from AJ Plus, a white teen, excuse me, a white Texas man shot and killed a Moroccan man as he sat in his car, claiming he locked it. Suspicious. 10 days later, the suspect has not been arrested, and that's the highlighted word in the tweet: arrested. Uh, so I don't know why that's the first thing that pops up when you search, or one of the first things that pop up when you search Julian Assange. But again, it's not just that one tweet. The whole search feed was flooded with a bunch of irrelevant shit. This is another one. Uh this is something about NBA YoungBoy being arrested. I'll show you guys another screenshot. Again, more shit about people being arrested have nothing to do with Julian Assange. Uh, Another tweet, or another screenshot from Twitter. Again, arrested, nothing to do with Julian Assange. So, oh, fuck me. I didn't show you guys the other ones. Oh, I did, actually. They're there. So, this is fucking bizarre, to say the least. Like I said, this is clearly intentional, and it strains credulity to believe otherwise. So, yet again, we're having this conversation about the power that these social media companies have to literally shape reality. Um, you have one of the most historic truth tellers of our lifetime being prosecuted, and the entire war machine is literally trying to kill this man, this journalist, for exposing the powerful. And this is something that everybody should know. But of course, mainstream media is not talking about it because they just do propaganda for the national security apparatus and the political establishment and the politicians who also want Julian Assange dead and also want to cover up those war crimes. And one of the only places that you can find information on this, probably literally the only place you could find any accurate information on Julian Assange, is through social media. And these corporations have so like unilateral control over what's on the platforms that they can literally suppress even the mention of Julian Assange to the point where you can barely even find information on him at a time when he's trending, or at least should be trending, and they just have the ability to erase him from the internet. And I don't know why more people are alarmed by this. It's because these billionaires, they're again, and this is another example of it. They're not going to use this censorship in a way. There is no way to use censorship in a way that benefits the public, but that they're going to use it for their own interest and to defend their own interests and to defend their own narrative and their own propaganda. And they are also a part of the establishment, and they also get all the defense contractors run ads on Twitter and things like that. God knows how much money they've collected in ads from Raytheon or Boeing or whatever. And so they're part of the war machine, and they're invested in the agenda of the war machine. And so if that means an innocent man is being persecuted and they are literally out to put him to death, they're going to cover it up because they just don't want people to know that information. So again, I just, this is, excuse me one second. This is just gross shit, dystopian shit. And like I always say, this is the person who exposed the war crimes, exposed the massacre and genocide of civilians, and he's the one who's sitting in prison. And not one person who was caught in broad daylight in black and white documents from the US government themselves, not one person who was guilty of war crimes even saw the inside of a jail cell, even saw a courtroom. Not one of them did. So it's clear that this is an attempt to scare the shit out of journalists and anybody who's willing to challenge power. Because if they can do it to Julian Assange, somebody of his public profile and clear stature as one of the most respected journalists of our time, if they can do it to him, they'll do it to anybody else. And it also raises a question about the social media things. Anytime that there's these weird instances of them literally going out of their way to like recreate reality in a way that that benefits them. It makes you wonder how many, because they do this every fucking day. They have this power and this ability to do it every day on any number of topics that they want. So if you could see how obviously and blatantly dishonest they are, and how much they're willing to shill for the establishment, and basically try to brainwash the entire public, on this consequential issue of Julian Assange being prosecuted, what other big or small issues are they suppressing, burying, and also the converse of it, are they promoting endlessly, and that they're is distributed all over the platform. So again, there really needs to, I don't know when it's going to happen, but there needs to be some type of public reckoning with the fact that they are like out of a sci-fi movie. These billionaires and these oligarchs have the ability to shape reality, and it is literally unchecked at this point. It is literally unchecked at this point, and the people whose job it is to be a check on these tech corporations, not only are they corrupt and have no interest in challenging like their corporate donors or anything like that, they're just literally incompetent, and they're old as shit, and they don't even know how these platforms work. So it's on top of the corruption obstacle and the corruption hurdle. It's like they logistically don't. They are incapable of coming together with, or putting together the rules that make sense for the internet to be governed by. So again, another strike against the old, out of touch establishment politicians, but also they're in on it too, and they also all of them will lie about Julian Assange relentlessly, and they'll all go on mainstream media and lie about him and pretend like he's like some national security threat and all this bullshit. So and they're also just as part of the war machine as anybody else. So the story was it was weird when I saw it happening, and then I saw other people mention that it happened to them too, and I just wanted to share it with the audience to let you guys know just how controlled social media is. So give me 1 second, I'll go to the chat.